We have to have very clear standards. We have to have very clear values for like how we operate our business. And in order to honor those, we have to have support and we have to have boundaries. But I do think reframing hustle a little bit versus I think hustle and grind have been like married. And like, I don't believe in the grind. I do not believe in the grind. I believe in alignment.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford. And this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in.
Hello, are all the party people doing it right today? It is raining here. We woke up to rain, and my road is particularly wet today, a little slippery. I got the text from my husband that said, please, please, please drive slow. Kelly, thank you for being here. I'll do a quick intro for you, and then you can actually tell us who you are, because like 3 sentences is nothing. So Kelly Parker is here. Kelly has over 15 years of experience in residential real estate, is the founder of an all-women team, Home Collective, ranking in the top 1% of realtors nationwide. In 2021, she launched Aligned Ambition, I love alignment, a coaching haven tailored for ambitious women in real estate. See, I am a little chaotic today. I love also ambitious women. You just keep saying all my favorite words. Focused on holistic approach. Yes, Kelly's Aligned Success methodology empowers women to build abundant, sustainable success that truly honors who they are, a transformative approach often overlooked in the traditional real estate coaching. Oh my God, tell me everything.
Yay.
Can we talk every day?
Oh my God, let's talk every day. Nice to be here, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Highlight of my week to speak to other, ambitious women doing the damn thing. So it's a joy to be here and connect with you. But yeah, I mean, that's my sort of like elevator explanation of who Kelly Parker is. But I'm out in Chicago. I'm still running my real estate team, Home Collective. I'm equally coaching women in the industry, but also other women outside of the industry. It's sort of expanded beyond that, just because I really believe in helping women like really live their fullest potential and actualize their big, ambitious goals and dreams for themselves. And, real estate being one vehicle for that, or real estate businesses tend to be one vehicle for creating the lives that we really desire. But it's expanded beyond that now. So it's been a wild ride figuring out how to balance both businesses at once, but such an honor to be here.
Kelly, we're so excited you're here today. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to highlight one of the things that you said that I think is important to, we have a lot of agents that listen, but I think it's important in any kind of coaching and whatever, is you're still actively like in the market. Like you're still actively running your real estate team. And I think because of the way, our business is, I think that that's so important. And I think that's a thing that we don't see with a lot of coaches. I think coaching tends to be the thing that they like kind of do instead. They're tired of selling or whatever, so they do this instead. And I don't know. I just think it's so important.
Yeah. Especially because it changes all the time, right? And especially faster than ever. Like it's changing faster than ever. And so to still be in the market, to still firsthand experience what everybody else is experiencing and then lead myself through that and figure out, how do I grow my business through that? How do I balance being a mom with this insane market that Chicago is experiencing right now? How do I still make my goals and dreams and things a reality while in the trenches? And I think it's that firsthand that I'm doing the work with myself first before I'm doing it with my coaching client that makes it so relevant and actually makes it really transformational. Because so much of the coaching too, I feel like coaching can get redefined a little bit these days now, because there's like training, there's coaching, and then there's mentorship. And I very much fall like almost farther towards mentorship of like, I'm a woman who's done what, maybe I'm a little bit ahead of my journey than the others that I'm working with. And I can speak so firsthand from what it is that I'm going through. where a lot of the training and the coaching is like just tactical things. Like, here's what to do to grow your business, or here's how to do it. And a lot of why I started my coaching business is that a lot of that doesn't actually align with how women are meant to build their businesses and grow their businesses. And so I think the combination of both, which is what aligned ambition is, like this combination of really focusing on who you are and who do you want to become and who do you need to be to have the business and the life that you want. And then what are the like aligned actions, the skills, the tactics, the things that we need to use to implement to create that sort of holistic, and that's where that word really comes from, that sort of like holistic growth and change.
Well, because a woman in business is still a mom, is still a wife, is still running a household. No shame on my husband, but he goes to work and he comes home. And like when he's at work, he's at work. And when I'm at work, I'm running to get the kids for the doctor's appointment. I'm making the doctor's appointments. I'm making sure the bills are paid. Our mortgage company sold our mortgage and now I need to get the bill scheduled to the right place. And I'm like, did I put that letter? And,
Yeah.
he goes to work and he comes home. And so holistic is so important for us as women in business. So you said a word twice that I don't believe in. You said the word balance.
Oh.
Do you really believe in it?
No, I actually it's funny. I think I use it because universally we know what that means, right? But I actually really believe in harmony over balance. And what I mean with harmony is that just like a musical note, right? Like you have highs and you have lows, and the combination of the two together actually create like a harmony. And so there are seasons in my life where I am focused on my business, where that is maybe taking more of a priority at that point. And then there's seasons where I get to lean a little bit further into my family life, my mom life, like those sides of things. And instead of trying to hit this like impossible like duality at the same time of both things being equal, I just appreciate that there's going to be ebbs and flows, and that my job is just to make sure that over the course of a specific set of time that there's actually some harmony there, and that I don't stay too far in one lane for too long.
I love that. That's a better reframe than what I have. I talk about the juggle. Often when I'm like having ChatGPT like refine something for me, it always throws in the word balance. And I'm like, I don't believe in balance. Stop putting it in my fucking paragraphs. It's not real. It's a juggle. It is not real. But I like harmony so much more. Although juggle seems kind of goofy and like entertaining, which I would say that kind of fits me. I'm an entertaining hot mess over here juggling all the things.
It's the truth, right? Like I sprinted from school drop off to get home to make sure I was ready for this on time, and I'm going to do the opposite on the back end of it. Like we're juggling, there's no doubt, right? But at moments we have to prioritize. We often don't get the option, but it's like, as I prioritize one, am I making sure that at some point the other comes back to the surface? And I think that comes from having spent way too much of my life and my career pedal to the metal in one area and deeply neglecting others, and realizing there has to be real intention and real thoughtfulness behind it, but also like challenging the roles and the expectations that were put on me that I just sort of let be put on me and just sort of accepted. And that's been a big part of my journey the last 4 years, is like rewriting the tape on what is mine to really like be responsible for and do. And then where do I need support? And I'm a big fan of support in a lot of different ways, because I think that's really how we reach alignment.
Kelly, are you coaching new agents, or like, are these more veteran agents? Like, what kind of, like, where are people in their career when they're coming to you?
I can coach you at any stage that you are in your career, because fundamentally the principles are the same, right? Like you're probably at a turning point, you're looking for the next thing, whether that's growth in your business or to start a family or to start your team. There tends to be the ambition at the front line, right? Like I really want to go for it in some capacity of something. It doesn't really matter where you are. Now, what I do believe is that it doesn't matter if you are new or established or scaling, that there are core fundamentals that should be in place. And those should be standards. You have to have standards for how you run your business, what kind of client services you deliver on, those types of things. You should have support so that you can meet your standards, because we cannot do it all alone. And usually the type of women that we are is we want to deliver damn good service and an exceptional, experience to our clients. So you need support. But then in order to meet your standards and obviously have support, you do have to actually have boundaries. And this is something that I speak with everybody about, is you turning off your phone at 7 o'clock at night actually allows you to honor your standards and the commitment that you made to your client. Because if you go until 10 o'clock, you're going to be a shell of a human the next day that's not going to be able to show up for the clients in the ways that really matter. And I do believe that we do a lot to educate our clients on this, actually. And if we just lead the conversation in it, they will follow suit. And I've seen it happen at all different stages of the career. But I think, so I just say, like, double click on that. Like, we have to have very clear standards. We have to have very clear values for like how we operate our business. And in order to honor those, we have to have support and we have to have boundaries. But I do think reframing hustle a little bit versus, I think hustle and grind have been like married. And like, I don't believe in the grind. I do not believe in the grind. I believe in alignment. And when you are aligned, you flow. There is ease, there is joy, there is abundance, there's all of those things. Now, so I don't believe in grind, but hustle, I love to hustle. Like, I love to get the deal done. I love to grow my business. I love to make money. Like, I love to see other women like out there crushing it. And that requires, I think, just a personality type to some degree of just like, I'm going to go get it and go get it. If that means that night you're getting it until 9 o'clock at night because you're super lit up and this is how it's working for you, right on. But we all know when we cross over. We know when we've crossed over from this is nourishing and fulfilling and it's like really like I'm thriving in it, to I'm absolutely exhausted, but I feel like I need to talk to this person tonight, else insert story that we tell ourselves about how there's lack or scarcity or they're going to judge us or all of those things. And I think that's the work. I talk about like the aligned success methodology, like that's part of that methodology, is this level of awareness for the way you're approaching your business, the way you're showing up, that really helps you not only scale and grow, but do it in a way that feels really truly aligned for you and fulfilling and with ease and all those things.
This reminds me of, I do every deal with a second agent on it, regardless of whether I need them there or not. And it's a lot because, and one of the reasons I tell my clients is I need to be refreshed so that I can show up as best as possible to represent you. And by having a second person on this deal, that allows me to do that. And I will shut off my phone and I will take the weekend when needed and I'll do all those things because that is how I'm going to be my best. And I want to be my best for my kids and my husband and for myself and for my clients.
Yeah. And I think clients really respect that. And I would wonder if that's what you're seeing on your end too.
That is one thing I want to who, not how for this year is editing.
I love that book.
I know.
Did you read
I'm
that
reading
book?
10 times. Oh, yeah. 10 times is easier. I think that I am a Dan Sullivan groupie,
I
actually.
am too. It's so
Yeah.
funny because I'm really wondering. I've never taken his like coaching. I've only read the books. And I was like, maybe I should do a strategic coach, man.
I know. A girlfriend of mine is the chief operations officer for Fit for Mom. And the owner of that business does his coaching. So
Oh,
she's kind
really?
of gained access to all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, geeking out. Like, tell me everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
like
fun.
ate up all those books over the summer, like fall, like the 10x is easier than 2x, who not how, and then there was one more.
That's The Gap in the Game.
Oh yeah, yes,
That one's
yeah.
huge. I mean, all three of them are just like such great perspectives. So what did you do to go 10x?
Oh, I mean, in my real estate business, like I've really had to like slap my own hand and be like, stay out of that. Like we had really clear, and I've even told my team, I'm like, you're allowed to come after me if I like overstep in spaces that I don't need to be in. And so there's been that. And then like, even with my coaching, like really cutting out the noise of like, I could do a million things, but like,
Right.
what is the thing? And Ian, it's funny because like even podcasts and stuff like this these are just really great for like I don't create content. Like I'm not on Instagram, like cranking stuff out. It's not me. And so reminding myself, like, what are the ways that actually like help spread this message and help connect with other women in like really meaningful ways. So I've really prioritized being on more podcasts this year.
It's
Because
such a
that
great way to
helps.
get
But
content that is also just like authentic and truly speaks to you because it's long form. It's not short form, like trying to fit this big idea into a
totally.
60-second reel that's got a fucking catch and like people aren't
Yeah.
going to just scroll through. Like, nah, I don't have a catch. I can't think of
I
15
can't.
catches a week. That's just not me.
No, it's not me. But like
I
in
could talk your ear
conversation, if
off.
you
Yeah.
can, when you can like, yeah, be in conversation or experience me, then it makes more sense than anything I could ever, like you said so perfectly, like capture in a little hook.
You said you're staying out of the noise. That's so important, is to not let yourself be distracted. I love that you gave your team permission to slap your hand because I think that's really important. One of the things I was talking about with Colleen on the way home from school drop off before we did this was she's getting ready to launch this big client event and she hired a event planner to do it for her. And she's like, I just like, yeah, go do whatever, like own your expertise, which I think is really great with speaking to staying in your lane. And I was talking about how when I hire someone, I've done it because I have decision fatigue and I no longer like I don't want a place in there. And I'm very good about telling them like if I'm passionate about something, I will tell you that I'm passionate about it and we'll like work together on those decisions, but otherwise please just make the decisions and I will never hold it against you if you make a decision I don't like when I gave you the power and the autonomy to do it yourself. If I didn't give you
Yeah.
clear enough guidance, if I didn't do all those things, then I have no place then coming after you. And I think to go 10 times, we have to build a team. We have to have the support and you have to give some of that control away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even what you touched on, like the clarity of direction and the clarity of agreement, right? Is like,
Mm-hmm.
here's when to come to me and here's when not. And again, kind of like here's the standard that's important to me that we hit. Here's the values that we're all committed to. I trust you to go do it and come to me when you need to. And I think like to me, what this brings up is I use a lot of human design in my coaching. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
I'm a
human
manifesting
design.
generator.
Okay. So I'm a generator, but I've been studying it for the last 5 years. I sort of my story for how I got into coaching is really interesting. And then human design became the toolkit really quickly when I realized, like, wait a second, this is how I was growing and scaling my business before. I just didn't understand the vocabulary for it. But what I love about human design, for those who aren't familiar, I mean, it's really the science of differentiation and an ultimate awareness tool around like what is the way that you're built and the way that you're designed to do anything in life. And I think what's cool about what you just said around support and kind of being able to hire the right people and give them the right direction is like, I know what I need to be my most productive and aligned self. And I'm not, as a generator, I'm meant to just do what I absolutely love and let that be what radiates out, but I'm also meant to respond. So like initiating certain things or constantly driving the idea forward and executing every decision and all of those things are not always was often not what I'm supposed to be doing. And so it's been really great to hire people into the right roles. My assistant's a manifesting generator, which is awesome because she's like quick and she's efficient and she can do a million things at once. But she can bring things to me to respond to be like, do you like this? Do you want that? How do we need to change it? And our workflow has just been 10x because we've kind of leaned into the ways that we're uniquely designed and we stay in our lane. And kind
Mm-hmm.
of go back to that question of like, what are you doing to 10x? It's like, I'm staying in my lane and I
Yes.
know what is mine and where I shine and what I need to outsource the support around. So
That's been the most enlightening thing to understand. First of all, when I took the manifesting generator and realized, or the human design and realized it's a manifesting generator, to be able to sit back in my life and see like, oh, that is when I've been in the best flow and in most alignment in my life is when I am just talking about the things that I'm excited about and then letting the universe just bring them to me. And that
yeah,
is, it's so fun. And then we also kind of geek out on this Clifton Strengths, the Strength Finder thing with your
Yeah.
5 top strengths, and then also building a team around those strengths. Like I'm
yeah,
really good at this, you're really good at this. Like that's where we should be putting our genius and spending our time because that's where we're going to make the magic.
All of that has been so impactful for me in the last probably year. And I think it really just acknowledges and gives you permission to just be who you are and lean into your strengths instead of trying
yeah,
to be something that you're not, that feels, and you were talking about this a little bit earlier, like the difference between grind and hustle. Like when you're grinding and like you're doing something that's not really, in alignment with your strengths, it feels so grindy, right? Like
Yes.
it feels so hard. And I was always get to the point where I'm like, it just shouldn't be this hard. Like
It shouldn't.
it just shouldn't be this hard. Right. So like, what's the deal? And I think we had a session the other day with somebody and they were like, it's really important to do these kind of assessments, human design or Clifton Strengths or whatever, because we tend to hire and we tend to select people who are similar to us.
Yeah.
But really what we need are those other people that have the opposite strengths as us or the different strengths, right? And I'm like, to be able to have that knowledge and have those tools, I'm sure you see this in your coaching, like those make such a huge difference in how, I mean, I just heard you say like, your counterpart is like the opposite of you and can make things happen. And then you're 10Xing, like that's the piece sometimes that we miss, I think, in building these businesses, unless you have somebody like you who's a coach who's like helping us through that or mentoring us through that and picking up those points, because otherwise I'm just going to hire my besties and they're all like,
Totally.
Just
we're
like
all
you.
the same and we're all failing in the same, not failing, we don't fail, but we're all really good in one thing and then
Flailing.
not as strong in something else, right? Flailing is a great word.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about the visual of the difference between grind and hustle. If you think about, and we use the phrase like when you're learning to drive a stick shift, grind your gears, and you hear that
Yeah.
sound, and like grind is not harmony. That is
No.
not harmony at all. That is like friction. And then hustle is like out on the field running, like, and usually
Yeah.
if you're hustling, you're going for something you want and you're excited and like you've got the adrenaline to hit it because you want it. Like those visuals just came to mind, and I'm really digging this difference between grind and hustle.
So I do. I want to just like also really acknowledge what you said, Kelly, because I think this is something that I've been, as a really ambitious hustler, right?
Yeah.
There is this connotation now of hustle culture, and that's a bad thing, right? So it's like, well, how do I fit if I like to hustle? And when you were like, if it's lighting you up to be working until 9:00 on what you're working on, then
Get it.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
go for it, right? But I think what we've been told as a more recently, especially for women, and that's where I get stuck with this boundary setting thing, is like, if I'm in the flow and I'm like hustling and I'm like loving it and it's 9 p.m. and somebody, not you, somebody is like, no, you need to stop at 7 p.m. That's your cutoff. I'm like, that doesn't feel good to me, right? Like that doesn't feel in alignment with what I'm doing right now. So I think you bringing some, shining some light on that is really like really, really impactful to me, just even in this conversation, because this is something that kind of came up this week, right? It's like, well, hustle culture, you shouldn't be hustling. We should be taking time to rest. And I'm just like, but sometimes I don't want to rest because this feels so good.
Well, yeah, you're
it's
in
not
it
in the
bad way.
reality of your life, Colleen, and like a lot of moms.
Yeah.
Just the reality, the logistics. Like you specifically, you're playing tennis and you're working out. Those are in business hours that you're doing those things.
Yeah. Yes.
That's your
Yes.
rest. That's your rejuvenation.
Yes.
You're also juggling
Yes.
the kids pickup in those business hours. So if then you have the motive genius at 9 p.m. and you're in flow, and then that's not going to leave you feeling exhausted. It's like how I can get up at 5:36 and bust out a shitload of work really quick before my kids get up, because my brain is fresh. I feel in flow. I get excited to start my day in that way and get a project done before everything derails me. Then that's my motive genius. That's my time. And trust me, there's a zillion times throughout the day where I'm pulled away for things that aren't business during business hours. And that's that holistic life that we're living where, as just working women, we're just doing it all the time. But if you're finding, like, you're doing so good about finding time to fill your bucket with the tennis and the weightlifting and the things that you're doing. I'm not doing as good at that, but I will one day.
You're doing a good job at so many things.
Yeah.
But I think, what we were talking about this in a conversation the other day, and Kelly, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, is like, people
and I guess this comes with burnout, and I don't feel burnt out, right? And I think a lot of this is perspective. Like there was a lot of talk about like, I don't want to answer the phone at my kid's soccer game. My viewpoint on that is I'm very happy to answer the phone at my kid's soccer game because I'm so privileged to be able to be at my kid's soccer game, right? And there was a time in my life where I couldn't be at my kid's soccer game. So if I get to be here and I get to participate, but I have to pick up a call and just step away or watch, you know, while I'm taking the call, that doesn't make me feel angry.
Right.
Right. But
Right.
for other people, it very well may make them feel really pissed off.
Well, I think what all of this, both of you said, that touches on all of this is that we get to define success for ourselves.
Yes.
We get to decide. And this is where I think we've given a lot of our power away in this industry is we've let outside voices tell us what productive is, what successful is, how our day should look
Yes.
in order to be qualified, worthy, top producer, like behaviors, all of these things that have been like prescribed. And
Yes.
and I have a lot of opinions on those prescriptions and the voices that they're coming from because they don't actually represent a majority of the industry actually, but we've just like let ourselves absorb them. And I think part of what Colleen, like you looking at your day and saying, I want to do tennis and I want to do these things, and also be in a position to answer my phone call to a client while I'm at my soccer game, like that is your definition of success right now in this stage of your life.
Yes.
And how do I design my day and my business to be in full support of that definition? But what's happened is we've let the industry tell us what success is and create the markers. Like you're not successful if you don't sell $10 million worth of business. You're not doing it right if you're not time blocking your calendar and putting a cutoff at 7 and all of these things. And then we're like, okay, but we're like little chickens, like, okay, that's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. And it's, no, we've just like completely overridden our natural, beautifully perfect way of creating businesses, running businesses that feel truly aligned and authentic for us, that are also a match for our definition of success. So like for me, I am in a stage where my definition of success is, am I serving as many women in real estate as I am real estate clients? Because we were having this, like, I was like trying to figure out my harmony, grit.
Yeah.
And then I say I want to be available to my daughter who's 8. I want to pick her up from school. I want to do all these things. I don't want to work the weekends. And am I able to actually execute on that as well and have that? And for me, it was, I really don't want to be on the phone with clients when I'm with her because she's at an age where she's like hyper aware. And it felt like I was like doing a dance a little bit where I caught myself. I'm like, I can still be productive and like checking things off my list while you're like playing at the park. But I was like, no, and so I've had to like have these check-ins with myself. But the point being is that's my definition of success right now. Right. And what choices am I making? And are my actions aligning with that definition of success? And so for me, that means I have 2 nights of the week that are like my nights where I get to do what I want. And sometimes that's working or that's taking a class or whatever I want it to be so that I'm still taking care of myself and fulfilling myself and the other needs that I have. Or for example, I don't work Fridays actually, and I don't work the weekend. So this has become the newest thing is my Fridays are my day / book my kids' summer camp and the airplane tickets and fix the mortgage payment thing that got screwed up, like all of those lovely responsibilities that we have, and really building my week out in a way that was also helping me achieve my other goals. And then staying committed to myself to not cross over in the lanes that I don't belong in, that sort of take me out of alignment with these things that I've said is what I want to do or what my definition of success is.
I think one of the most poignant things in that explanation you gave is right now, this season. Like, because Colleen, like you and I are 3 years in on real estate and like still really excited and on fire about it. But that person that doesn't want to answer the phone at the soccer game, maybe he's been doing it for 10 and is like, I've answered the phone during the soccer game for 10 years. Like, I'm done. That's not my definition of success anymore. And it gets to change week to week, month to month. year to year,
Yeah.
as our situation changes, as our seasons change, we can adjust how it's working. Right now, to your point, Kelly, like Fridays are Mommy and June Day. I don't have my youngest in preschool that day. And that's a gift I get to give each of us, her and me. It is a gift to me. And like, I do work sometimes on that day. Like, I'll take her to a home inspection, and like my clients just have to go along with that because it's Mommy and June Day. And sorry, that's who we are.
Yeah.
And that's my definition of success right now. You know, next year she'll be in kindergarten and we won't get to do that. And so that's where we are. I didn't get that with my older two girls, and I'm giving myself this gift with my baby. Sorry,
Yeah.
older two children. I love
Sorry,
you.
you guys are fine.
okay.
You're the practice kids.
Yeah. But I also,
And it
But
shows.
yeah, I liked, Kelly, what you were saying about this, and it really speaks to me. And so, like, I really am thankful for you just calling this out, like this idea of the prescribed method of doing something, and how that prescribed method is like a panacea for everybody, right? Like, it's just supposed to be like, oh, this works for everybody. Like, because I personally, when people are like, time block, you have to time block, like, that feels not in alignment with me.
yeah.
I don't like, but I do in ways time block, right?
Yeah.
Like,
In your own way.
the perfect example,
In your
in
own
my
way.
own way, right? Like, I block off tennis every Thursday from 11 to 12:30, right?
Yeah.
That's a time block. I blocked that time out, right?
Should we talk about the
and
8 a.m. exercise time block you have that you never honor?
oh my God, I took it off my thing. I had an 8 a.m. time block from 8 to 9 every single day on my calendar. I never did it, but the alarm on my phone would go off every single day. It was
Oh
an
my gosh.
unrealistic time
Poor thing.
block.
Yeah, it didn't work
Yeah.
for you. That was not a
Didn't work.
system that was for you.
But somebody at some point told me, time block your
Shouldn't
day. And
do
so
it. Yeah.
when I like look at my calendar, I'm like, okay, I should be able to do that at this time, right? But like, in theory, I should be able to do it. But in reality, it was really stupid. And then I was failing all the time. In my
Yeah.
own mind, I was failing all the time because I wasn't hitting this target. And I'm a very goal-oriented, targeted person, right? So and I've said this, and I think it sounds like this is how you're coaching, is like, the best part of this business and the worst part of this business is that there's so many ways to do it. And and I love what you're saying is like, what's in alignment with you. And, you know, I struggle with the time blocking because if I'm in flow, I don't want to stop when the timer goes off. I want to
Right.
keep going. Right. But I'm quote unquote supposed to.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so I've struggled with those types of methods. But if you're looking at a lot of this like big name coaching, and it's like, from this time to this time you do this, from this time to this time you do this, and this time to this time you do this. And I think that works for a certain subset of
Yes.
people, predominantly men.
Yes.
I don't know that works for me.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
no, wait, actually, calling that attention out, like if you think about, I know I've been taught like a man's brain is like a waffle. They've got all these, it's a grid, and they've got all these different like compartments where like I'm working in this compartment, I'm working in this compartment. But if you look at a woman's brain, it's spaghetti. Like we're all mixed together and it's all happening all at the same time. Like they get to
Yeah.
compartmentalize, and we're obviously speaking generally. I'm sure this is not for all men, but this is a female-based podcast, so fuck it. You guys
Love
are in
it.
compartments over here, and we're just this spaghetti all mixed together. And like that's why when I'm in the pickup line, I'm also like negotiating this deal, and that's why I'm at the park yesterday and I'm setting stuff up for signature. And like I can do that. If we asked
Yeah.
Alex to do that, sorry, honey, that would not work for him.
Right. And that's the beauty of what we get to bring to this industry, is another leading example of what success and how to go about it can look. And the truth is there's infinite paths to success, even though we've been told like a very narrow few. Infinite. The one that will work for you is based on how you are aligned. And then when I say aligned, I mean like in our human design, there's actually a blueprint that says like, this is the way to achieve things. This is the way to move things forward. This is the way to make decisions. But also aligning with what our definition of success is, what our values are, and being deeply honest with ourselves about what we've been conditioned to believe versus how we actually want to do it. Because how we actually want to do it is like the green signal to be like, this is it. And you really have to trust yourself enough to go forward in that way, even if there's not an example of it or the industry hasn't told you that. When we see success, and when I saw success in my business is when I literally crumpled it all up and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. And it turned out that was like the right recipe. And I think with all of the advice, what it's doing is it's just like caging women. Like I see it, they come into my space and they're like shells of themselves. And they're so freaked out that they haven't perfectly tracked their client interactions and that they haven't done all of these things that they were told to do. They had the time block on their calendar that they didn't commit to. And now they feel like they're not doing enough or they're inadequate in the space. And energetically, what that's doing is trashing your business.
Oh,
and so my
My
work is to help you reset your energetic frequency so that you are operating at a level that is actually a match for the things that you are so ambitiously like pursuing after. That's what the work is.
Why it worked when you threw that game plan away and leaned into like what felt good to you is because that is magnetic. When you are positive and you're in alignment and when you're living your life true to who you are, that is what makes people feel attracted to you and want to work with you. And you're like a bright shining light. Like we're all vibrations just walking through the earth. Vibrate higher.
Oh yeah, that's we are.
Kelly, when somebody comes to work with you, that I'm like, Kelly, I'm so pumped about everything you're saying and I want you to coach me. Like, walk us through a little bit of what that process looks like for you. Like, are you having your clients do a human design assessment? Are you walk us through that.
My coaching is very personalized. It is not one size fits all, as you can imagine, based on this conversation. So I do start with what we have is called a clarity call. So you can just do a one-time call. If you just want to like do one-time call, kind of get some clarity on where you're at and where you're trying to go and the best way to do it. And in that call, I'll look at your human design. You'll fill out a questionnaire for me so I can really see like where you're at, where you're desiring to go, what you perceive as getting in your way. And then I take your human design and we kind of map out some clarity and a plan. Now that's like the real, like the technical side, but really like in conversation with you, I have a gift of clarity and I can see so quickly where the blocks are to help you sort of like navigate your way past that to be on your way to the things that you're really striving to do. And so yeah, it can start with a call and then we can do like a 3-month package. There's some group coaching containers, all of which though we bring in the aligned success methodology, which to simplify it is awareness and intention before we take action. Because there's so much actioning that's happening and trying to make the damn thing work that we don't often realize how misaligned they are. And so we have to back the tape up some and focus on the awareness piece, clarity of intention. And then we start to prescribe like the actions to take that are really a match for the things you're trying to create.
That's so incredible. I think that Colleen and I are so guilty of just action, and like not always stopping to make sure we're being intentional and aware of the decisions and the actions we're taking.
Yeah. I mean, especially as, sorry, Colleen. I would say especially as manifesting generators. Sorry.
No, I mean, we are like the spaghetti, throw the spaghetti on the wall, see what kind of sticks. And I think to some degree when you're starting, there is some of that because you just don't. You don't know what you don't know, right?
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And so, I'm time blocking. I'm like listening to the books. I'm getting the coaches. I'm listening to the whatever. But like, I think kind of this refinement and this idea of like really finding your like real alignment and what comes easy and what brings you joy or fills your bucket, whatever, however you want to say it. Like, as anyone's business starts to evolve in that way, those things hopefully become pretty clear. And I think what I'm hearing you say is you're helping people find that clarity a little bit earlier maybe than having to struggle through all
exactly
bullshit.
Because so much of the bullshit is when you get just buried, when you just get buried under all of the stuff that you've tried and then the things that worked or didn't work and then maybe didn't try hard enough or long enough to know if it worked. And it just sucks you dry. And so trying to like, the sooner you can rise above that, right, the quicker you will be on your path to where you need to go. And I think something that's really interesting for the two of you is if you're both manifesting generators, there is actually an element of your design where you're supposed to try a lot of things. You're supposed to spin a lot of plates. You're supposed to throw the spaghetti at the wall, right? You're supposed to move quickly and say, actually, I don't think that worked, but let's move on to the next one. But there is a fine line of, are we just hopping to the next inspired idea, or does this really not work? And kind of like slowing things down enough, and then looking at your design, because your design will actually tell you like your gifts, right? Like I have the gift of, I know what my gifts are. And so when you know what your gifts are, it can actually start to help you like piece out the spaghetti and be like, this needle works and this needle works. And like, maybe let's just do more of that. Or maybe get some support to do more of that, so you can keep creating in this really authentic way of being a manifesting generator with speed and multiple things at once. So it's like, this is about not like controlling you and like tying it down. It's a matter of like support, like truly supporting you in a way that's so authentic to the way that you're meant to create success.
Yeah, I was trying to find we had Peyton Hughes come and do the human design on the podcast. I was trying to find my human design because I don't think I think we were different, Cheryl, which I was surprised. I thought we were going to be the same because we're similar. But even when we did, Cheryl, even when we did our Clifton strengths, they were not the same. But
no, we weren't identical like you and Allie.
Yeah, but like,
people.
but we are similar in similar people and similar like energies and things like that. So it is interesting, I think. And to your point, like really, really narrowing in on like what works for you, because Cheryl and I are so similar and would appear so similar. But when you do these kind of assessments,
totally,
we're not identical.
Well,
and
I
I
think
think
that in the
that's really interesting.
application of how you and I work together. You know, like
Yeah,
we have different,
for sure.
We have different strength sets, and that is powerful, and that is why we succeed together, is because we are able to lean on what the other one's great at and thrive in that way. So Kelly, where can people find you if they fell in love with you today, as I'm sure they did? How do they then connect with you?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram, which really, when I say that, I hang out in my stories. I'm not like I was telling you that I'm not like a content. I don't put out tons of content, but I'm in there and I hang out, and you can come, and I share pretty like transparently and vulnerably in my stories. And I do a lot of coaching in my stories as well. So you can come get a taste of things there, which is Kelly_E_Parker. You can also visit my coaching website, which is thealignedambition.com. And on there, there's like links to do a clarity call with me. You can read more about private coaching or group coaching, both of which are waitlisted right now, but definitely do a clarity call. Like if someone's like, I loved hearing this and I just want your eyes on me and my business, and to like get that perspective, that's a great way to do it pretty quickly. So
wonderful. And we'll link all of those in our show notes for you guys. Anything you want to leave this audience with that you're feeling compelled to share?
Oh my gosh. Put me on the spot.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Don't worry. I'll cut out
that's
any
okay.
pauses.
That's okay. I think like I think the message that I have is that for women in this industry, more so than ever, like, you're not crazy. You're not failing. You're not fucking up. You're not inadequate. You're not lost, even though you might feel like you are. You're just, maybe sitting at tables or not always in the right rooms, or letting things speak louder than your inherent truth. And I just want you to really trust yourself and to give yourself the permission that you want other people to give you. But the truth is, like, you're the only one who can give it to yourself. Go build your businesses in the ways that feel good to you, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else. Go meet up and align with other women who talk like this and who feel this way and who are doing that, because it only bolsters, your confidence as well. So I just think my overarching goal with my coaching is to give more women permission to just honor themselves and trust themselves and to set themselves free ultimately.
I'm giving you a standing ovation. Like, my God. I just want to play that over and over and over again for myself and for so many women that I know, because I just think like to be free of the idea of prescribed success and what that looks like is so
life-giving,
so impactful, Kelly. So thank you for the work that you're doing. And I know there's a lot more that you have to share, and we would love to have you come back, and maybe come back when we are
not having a technical disaster.
Yeah, no, this is
And
great.
I know there's so many more pieces and parts to your story that we'd like for you to share. We would love to have you back if you will.
Yeah.
come
Oh my
back
gosh.
at some point.
Anytime. This was lovely. I so enjoyed this conversation and just knowing that the two of you are out there in real estate doing the damn thing. And it lights me up. Like, it makes me happy. And I think the more that we all know of each other, the lighter this space is. So thanks for doing this and having
Yes.
this podcast. It's such a great
Our
space for
pleasure.
women.
Yeah, we're not just in real estate. We're
Thank
out here
you.
just trying to lift the women and give space for women to be who they want to be and do it in the way that's right for them. Not to go
Hell
back
yeah.
to the title
Yeah.
of our podcast, but we're doing it right? Nobody fucking knows. We're just
Nobody,
winging
no,
it,
Nobody
and
knows.
then
nobody knows.
trade it out when it doesn't feel good anymore.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. There
Do
is
what's
no
right in this
right,
season.
actually, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
Mhm.
the overarching is like, if it's right for you, then it's right.
Yes.
And
Oh,
yeah,
well, Kelly Parker, thank you so much
Kelly,
for being here
thank
today.
you so much.
ladies,
we'll see
thank
you
you.
next
Good luck
time.
with your days and your rainy towns and slippery streets, but such a joy to see your faces. And I hope we connect again soon. I'm happy to come back
Likewise.
anytime.
Yay.
Awesome. All right. We'll
Thank
see you guys
Kelly.
next time.
Bye.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.